And I do believe we are live now. If anybody wants to check that for me, I think we are live. Okay, good. Hey everybody, Soundly here, Shooting the Breeze 5.1. Interesting story there. We'll go into it, I'm sure, at some point. I have with me Quartus, Lewis Hackett, and I have Ad 2.0, also known as Adam, and Planar Walk. Thanks everybody for joining me. I really appreciate it. So, one thing I'd like to point out is that my last interview with Chris Hill, for some reason, didn't get a lot of views. I think it's because I did it really late at night. So if you haven't seen it, please go check it out. Really good interview. He's the guy that was responsible for the laser test on Genius by Stephen Hawking. The one that everybody started debating in the flat earth world. So go check that out. It's pretty cool. And what I'd really like to start off talking about is this new policy that Flat Earth, or not Flat Earth, but that YouTube has come up with in their blog, where they're talking about videos that are claiming the Earth is flat and other videos that they deem to be misinforming users and harmful. That they will stop recommending these types of videos. And of course, the debate has started off with, is this a free speech problem? And everybody has different opinions on it. So that's really what this panel is about. We're going to be talking about this blog article and whether or not it is in fact a problem as far as free speech goes, or if it makes sense, and everybody can share what they think. So guys, thanks for joining. Anybody want to open up? All right, so it sounds like we might agree on it being a good move on the business decision part, but we probably disagree on it being a free speech problem. I don't think it's really a free speech problem, to be honest, because they're not actually taking, they're not actually taking the content off of YouTube. They're just choosing not to promote it. And I like to think that if somebody were, like, for example, they're comparing it to, or they're lumping it in the same category, somebody's proposing a miracle cure, would you agree that that's probably a good thing to not promote? Are you serious? That's really terrible. If that's the case, then we gotta start this whole thing over here. Let me figure out what's going on. Why is that the case? I do see now that the desktop audio is not sharing, even though it's on. So there is a problem. Now they're all wondering why I'm laughing. All right, hold on. Let me figure out what's going on with this audio real quick. So this is really strange. It should be actually capturing this audio right now. Fixing it. Say something.
Ahoy, hoy.
Something.
Okay, yeah, it's working now. Let's get confirmation from the world.
Testing.
From the public.
Can you hear me?
The panel's actually being heard now. I believe you are, but I just want to make sure that they can hear it. Okay. Looks like Andrew Eddy says bingo. Okay. Fantastic. Figured it out. Okay, so starting over. Yeah. We're talking about the blog article. Of course, you guys heard me about that YouTube just recently put out, where they specifically mentioned claiming that the earth is flat is going to be an offense, so to speak, on YouTube that prevents your video from being monetized. On one hand, I agree with YouTube. On the other hand, I'm a little worried personally that it will affect debunker videos, because how smart are their bots, you know? And I really want to hear different people's opinions, especially opinions that are different than mine. That'd be great. And I think Lewis does have a different opinion. Lewis, would you like to continue sharing how people can hear you?
Yeah, I think there's I think it's a good business decision on their part to minimize these types of videos, because most people, they're going to be turned, this sort of thing is going to turn people off of YouTube, and over time that means less viewers for YouTube, which means less money for them. The debunker aspect of it, I don't know, I guess, yeah, it's just sort of collateral damage. It just sucks for you.
Yeah, one of the things that I said was, you know, I have 200 and something, or 200 and almost 300, I guess. I don't know how many videos I got, but a bunch of them that are all tagged Flat Earth Debunk. And the question is, will the robot be smart enough to know that that's not a Flat Earth proponent, right? That's not a Flat Earth video. Or is it smart enough to recognize that it's, you know, going against Flat Earth? And does that even matter to them? I think it would matter, but based on the wording of this, but is the robot smart enough?
I don't think it would be. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, here's an idea that I had. You know how when you've got monetization, when your video gets demonetized, you can request manual review? Yeah. What if they let you know when your video has been has stopped being recommended, and then you get to manually review, get to request a manual review?
Yeah, I mean, that would be great. It's not just about, the thing is you will be demonetized. It's one of the things that the Creaky Binder actually found out. He knows some people that know people, and apparently that the video will be demonetized if it is in this category. So you will have that notification, hey, this is demonetized. So you will have to request a manual review in that case, which is interesting, because my first version of this Shooting the Breeze 5.0, this is now Shooting the Breeze 5.1, but Shooting the Breeze 5.0 was demonetized right away. And I complained to YouTube. I complained to YouTube about it, and they were like, sometimes it happens because it's being, you know, miscategorized, you know. And they actually responded to me on Twitter, and I put it up for a manual review, and they fixed it right away. I've only had one time where a manual review didn't result in demonetization working, and that was because I think I promoted McWest's book, and YouTube basically looked at that as like a sponsorship or like an ad for that book.
Okay.
Yeah. Twitwit, welcome. Twitwit has joined us. I'm sure she'll speak when she gets ready to.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Twit.
Sounds like you have a fan running there.
I do, in a way. It's my dryer. It's pretty loud.
So what's your opinion, Twit, of this?
Is it really bad? I'll mute if it's really bad, guys.
It's
No, you sound okay.
It's not bad to me.
I had an initial opinion of it not being a big deal, because it didn't, I guess, affect anything that I was gonna do. But then I've kind of thought about it, actually put some thought into it, and I don't see it as censorship. I think it's a smart move. I didn't get a chance to hear anybody else who was talking before me, so if I repeat something that you said, it's not because I'm trying to say it's better. I'm saying it better than you did. But I saw that somebody in the last chat where you were on, Soundly and Lewis, that he said that YouTube is taxpayer funded, and I thought that I don't think so.
No.
It's a private company.
Yep.
And therefore, I believe that they have the right to do whatever they want with their service. And, I just don't see it as a form of censorship. I did listen to what the other side was kind of saying, and the flat earthers, they do feel like it's censorship, and I guess, understand where they're coming from, but if I was like on a jury, I would have to say, no, it's not censorship. Sorry,
Yeah, I agree with you on 2 points. I think it is a private company. I mean, Google's a private company, Alphabet or whatever they're called now. So I don't think that really falls under the First Amendment. Now, I think that companies that do kind of self-police and kind of follow the First Amendment have, especially these type of companies like YouTube or Twitch or any of these type of video streaming companies where people can have a platform. I think that it's to their benefit to market themselves as a free speech platform. But I don't think they have to necessarily follow that. It's definitely a law that's about the government, not about private companies. However, I also agree. I don't think to me it's not censorship. The video is still there. It's still available. Yeah, it's not being promoted by YouTube, but the way I feel is why it seems almost like a moral conundrum for YouTube, because are they going to promote videos that they deem to be con artist videos, essentially? I mean, that seems to be what they're going after here, is that they think that the videos are misinformation.
Well, that's in their memo where they say that this is harmful content, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But to clarify the earlier point, YouTube performs what you might arguably call censorship all the time. There's content they won't allow on the site.
Right.
So even if they decided we're not putting this content in anymore, we're just going to delete it, it wouldn't be new ground that they're breaking. It would just be something else they've added to their list of things they won't permit. Now, they're not doing that. Just, to make that clear, they're not doing that. They're just not feeding it to people in their recommended lists.
Right.
And I think something to throw in there too is I think what's new about this is the first that I've seen of them saying that they are actively suppressing certain types of videos. I'm sure they've been doing that already.
Well, they absolutely have. They're content guidelines. They're community guidelines. I mean, they won't let certain kinds of content in at all, right?
Oh, well, yeah. I didn't mean. I meant like there's a reason some videos make it to the top and blow up and others don't. It's because they have a system of promotion in place. And I think what's new is now they've shed some light on what they are going to do with that system rather than just letting it be a mystery to everybody.
They haven't given a complete list of what they will and will not promote at this point. They're leaving it.
I personally feel like they are already kind of repressing some videos, not just flat earth videos, but anything relating to that content, including the debunker people, until Cyman Dan went up to 120,000 subscribers, and something changed at that time. I don't know what changed, but
I think that a lot of it has to do with advertisers themselves. YouTube has had issues, just like all of the social media platforms have, with advertisers, being pressured into not having their ads on questionable anything, and if what would you do if you're, a global brand who happens to end up having their brand advertised on a flat earthers channel? You would not like that. Somebody would complain to your company and say, hey, global brand X, why are you advertising on these people's channels? And it causes problems. So it's not just necessarily about flat earth, just because we see it more in flat earth because we're involved in flat earth, but it is extended to these other areas. And I think that they highlighted those areas, those topics, because those topics are known to have problems. There's no facts. We're living in this era of, false fake news, false information, and everything needs to be fact checked and verified. And I think that that's why the crackdown happened as publicly as it did.
I don't know. K Nix in the chat made a slightly interesting comment, although derogatory. He said we sound pathetic. And then said, if flat Earth is so bad, people just ignore it anyway. But that's not what this is about, and obviously people aren't ignoring it. I think it's about YouTube is making a business choice about it, and I think that's fine. And then I guess the initial question was, is this censorship? And in the strictest sense, no, it's not. But it will impact how many people hear this. So
I think true censorship would be, you mentioned flat Earth, your video gets taken down.
Right.
Like that would be true censorship. Right now, the flat earthers have an advantage. I think that they have platforms that are alternatives to YouTube, so they can promote their YouTube channel through those platforms. And platforms like Facebook or Twitter or whatever, they can still keep promoting their material. They just aren't going to be able to have YouTube do it for them. They're going to have to put more work in.
Well, how many flat earthers, I'm sorry if I stepped on your quarters, but how many flat earthers are actually promoted? I mean, if it wasn't for somebody that I know personally bringing me to flat earth, I wouldn't have found it.
This isn't really about promotion, though. It's about recommendation lists. So you watch one video and then it starts showing you others with the same sort of content, right?
Yeah.
In the sidebar or in your homepage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what happens is someone will watch one flat earth video and then you get 1,000 of them. I mean, it's happened to all of us who've gone looking at flat earth videos, right?
Well, it's even worse than that. If I look at like Wolfie's video or one of those guys, the next video recommended to me will be some flat earth video. I don't know why it works like that, but I don't want to watch that.
So that can do a great deal of harm to someone who is susceptible to the sort of crap that flat earth videos contain. And now suddenly they're going to get a steady diet of them, right? So,
and red pill philosophy is a perfect example
of someone who is susceptible.
Who's susceptible? Because I ran into him before. He was a flat earther, and he is just like a pro-Trump, right-wing, be proud that you're a man type of guy. He actually has some compelling political positions. And so, like, when I started, at first I thought he was poeing, because he sounded so ridiculous. But over time, it's like, obviously he's fallen prey to like you heard him tonight with his angular resolution argument. It's absurd.
I think that earlier on tonight was more of he's using flat Earth as a platform to drive the political side of what he wants to argue.
I think he's got all of that mixed in there, but
so a lot of flat earthers. We were actually talking about this earlier. I think this would be a good segue, actually, because you don't say that whenever you're actually going to have a segue. But I think there is this perception that flat earthers are coming from a Christian, right-wing Christian perspective, and I would say that the majority of my family is right-wing Christian, and I'm the oddball. But the majority of my family's right-wing Christian, and they all think flat earthers are crazy, and they think I'm crazy for even interacting with them. So,
yeah, well, to say that many flat earthers are right-wing Christians is not to suggest that right-wing Christians have to be flat earthers, right? Flat earthers are in the minority in any population.
Yeah, that's true.
So
apparently, though, some Wiccan things teach flat Earth.
Well, they're a minority of a minority. Like, how many Wiccans are there? You could probably fit them all in one room.
Maybe. I've heard that there's... Like, I was listening to a thing from the Godless Island a while back, and this person was that he was talking to was an ex-Wiccan, and she was saying how they were... In the coven, they were taught that the Earth was flat.
Okay.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you were actually talking about something before the hangout, Planar Walk, about somebody asked you a question about why all the debunkers are...
Oh, yeah, Red Pill Philosophy commented on my channel a while back saying, why are so many flat earth debunkers also atheists? So creepy, cultish, strange. Something to that effect, anyway.
I think it's very straightforward why there's as many debunkers who are atheists as there are. It's because the YouTube community for atheists started first, and the skeptic community and the debunking community consists of a large body of those people. Predominantly, not exclusively, but predominantly those people.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that's true. I would say that I'm probably a rare Christian debunker. I'm probably rare among the group. So, yeah. I find there to be a lot of value in skepticism and critical thinking, and so I obviously associate a lot with the debunkers, and of course I diverge on matters of faith, but yeah, so I guess I'm a little oddball there on that one.
Yeah, I think it is true. Like, there's a lot of atheist, debunker, skeptic people, and I think there's sort of a lull in things to debunk and things to argue about with the religious people, or at least some of us got bored with it. I know I did. And this flat earth thing is a natural thing to fill that void, because we all like to argue with people and scream how right we are.
And it's adjacent because, as previously mentioned, a lot of them are religious in their motivation for believing the earth is flat.
Yeah, I think I don't know, sometimes Christianity gets lumped in with people that are in fact crazy. And I kind of understand that. I actually do understand that from an atheist standpoint. But the thing is that I think they're all minority. Like, if you look at young earth creationism, I think that's a minority. If you look at flat earth, that's a minority. The things that are typically associated with the things that get debunked on the Christian side, they're all minorities, because I feel like, and this is completely subjective, that Christians are, for the most part, old earth creationists, and meaning that they believe that the earth is old, in fact old, it looks old, all the evidence points to it being very old, but that God had moments of special creation within it.
Yeah.
Well, what things like flat earth, young earth creationism, 9/11 truthers, and so on have in common? And well, the medical miracle cures that they're also not promoting now, not recommending. It's not religion, it's anti-science. That's the common thread that runs through all of those.
It's anti-reason, yeah.
It's anti-reason and anti-science, and to that end can do a lot of harm to a lot of people. So
yeah, totally agree with that. I wish Tim was here, Tim Osmond, because I'm curious what his opinion is on this one. Twit, you never heard back from him?
No, I sent him a link, or I tried to add him. I'm having a little bit of a difficulty here tonight, but I did get in touch with him and I added him, so maybe he'll show up. You might want to send him a link, though.
Are you Chardonnay impaired, Twit?
Well, it's not Chardonnay.
Hold on. Oh man, he actually responded to me on Discord. Hold on a second. Is that loud? Sounds loud.
Yeah, it sounds like you're murdering your keyboard.
Am I the only one not drinking here? I better remedy that.
I am not drinking.
I'm not drinking either. It's only 4:50.
Okay, well, let's not make everybody feel bad about who is drinking.
No, it's all right. Soundly's drinking.
Okay, you're right. Okay.
Let's just pop the top and start drinking.
I
Unscrew your wine bottle.
Yeah. Open the corner of the cardboard box.
While we're here, yeah, mostly the anti-science, anti-reason groups that we mentioned, they do seem to be the minority. They're like those little run-down Baptist churches that nobody goes to next to the mega church, you know, across the street. But they're always awfully loud and vocal. And when I was a Christian and I went to a Presbyterian, I forgot the other one that I've attended, but I always felt like Christians were in the minority. Everywhere I went, I saw people who didn't go to church. They were living a radically different lifestyle than I was, and I saw them absolutely everywhere I went. And all the codes of behavior and morals that were taught to me as a Christian, I did not see reflected, and I actually thought I saw them being directly taught against in my peers. And so I always felt that Christians themselves were in a minority growing up, though. But I mean, looking around the world now, I'm not so sure. I'm thinking there's an awful lot of them, virtually almost everybody. But then almost all the Christians that I knew then and know now did believe in things like evolution and the Big Bang and just generally accepted science.
Yeah, that's the point again, right? It's an anti-science movement more than it is a religious one, whether or not religion is cited as the source for the anti-science movement.
One thing I also want to say about what I was saying before is when it comes... One thing that I've heard is apparently when you're single, you see a lot of happy couples, and when you're in a relationship, you see a lot of happy singles.
Yeah.
So it could be just something to do with how we perceive the world.
Mm. When you're a Christian, you see the world is full of sinners and atheists.
Yeah, I still don't perceive it that way, I guess.
Thank you.
I don't feel like Christians are in the minority, not in the South for sure. I mean, there's a lot of mega churches down here. They're huge.
There's Christian and Christian, though, right? There's church on Sunday Christian, and then there's, the hardcore Christian, and then there's the wacko Christian.
There's a difference.
Lots of kinds, yeah.
Yeah, there's a difference. I personally think I can worship from home, to be honest. I don't feel like giving Jimmy Schwaggart a bunch of my money, to be honest.
I think a lot of people, if you take a lot of atheists, like not the loud atheists, but if you take just a regular atheist who lives a normal life, and you take a regular sort of Christian who lives a normal life, I don't think that you can really tell the difference between them.
No, you can't. No,
largely, and I think there's quite a few people for whom faith plays no particular role in their daily life, who would write themselves down as Christian, preferring the label. But they really live the same life as someone who has no belief in the God at all. In fact, they may have no particular faith themselves, as it isn't a factor that matters to them in any way.
Well, from my perspective, which may be considered heretical, I'm not sure, because I've never actually heard any other Christians talk the way I do about this. But when Paul was talking in Romans, he's talking about the Gentiles that have the law written on their heart, even though they don't know Jesus. They don't know basically what Christianity is about. But even so, their own consciousness is a witness to their behavior, because they're good. Essentially, he's saying they're good people. Even without accepting Jesus Christ.
Uh-huh.
And to me, it's kind of questionable whether or not they're gonna be saved or not. You know, I kind of lean towards there probably will be. So it's that's definitely a heretical perspective from other Christians in my area. That's for sure.
Well, I think that if there is a God, like the God of the Bible, I think that he'd probably want to save the people that actually leave a good, have a life where they try to be good people, you know, and because otherwise most of the world would just go to hell, because there's no sort of there's no religion that has over half the population of the world.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah. So I think Tim would have a lot of interesting things to say about probably contrary to the things we've said about the YouTube censorship.
Tim Osmond, thank you for joining. Really appreciate that. Yeah, I was hoping you would show up, Tim, because we're talking about this. You know, obviously a lot of flat earthers think that this new blogs and this new statement that YouTube has made on their blog article about videos that claim the earth is flat will no longer be recommended. They think that it's some type of censorship. I disagree, of course, but I was curious what your opinion was on it.
Well, I could argue it both ways. If you look at the definition of censorship, it's the suppression or prohibition of any parts of book, films, news, etc., that are considered obscene, politically unacceptable, or a threat to security. You could probably put that somewhere in there. But as far as what they're trying to say as far as censorship, I think I heard Cordis there say it correctly, that censorship would be they just remove all of flat earth videos. And that's not what they're proposing to do. It's really not that big of a deal to flat earthers, I think. And someone kind of touched on what I wanted to say as far as their SEO, their search engine optimization, or their social media marketing skills. I mean, if they're not going to let you, if they're going to discriminate, I'll argue for a discrimination factor on YouTube, which they're totally allowed to do. It is a private company. But what they could do is get better at Facebook, Twitter, and all that kind of stuff to try to push it on different blogs and posts and all that kind of stuff if you're trying to get people and your videos to go viral. So you don't necessarily need any kind of recommended from YouTube. But it does call into question, you know, are there going to be robots basically picking up people like Wolfie 6020 just the same as they're picking up a Globebusters known charlatans and shills? That's kind of, you know, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, it's really not that big of a deal for flat earthers to not be recommended, because truthfully, a while back, probably about 5-6 months ago, ever since these charlatan shill conventions, basically, when you put in flat earth, YouTube had already put all those ABC and all those making fun of flat earth videos already at the top. So it used to be, when I was first here, that when you typed in flat earth, people like actually had the numbers would be shown. But for some reason, they've already pretty much, in a certain fashion, censored flat earth. And, you know, it also calls into question that, you know, this is a business and they are selling ad time and stuff like that. Is it kind of like who actually purchases it, or is it, you know, the amount of people that actually see it because they're watching videos? And then, yeah, as a business owner, I probably wouldn't want, you know, my stuff on Hans Wormhat transvestigating people. You know, like, that's not worth my money to be advertising to people that are interested in Hans Wormhat transvestigating people. So there's a point to be made, but, you know, all of this, no matter if it's positive or negative publicity for flat earth, even YouTube putting in conspiracies or flat earth, they just had to throw that in there for some reason. Even with all that, you know, it's just going to get more eyes on it, truthfully, in my opinion.
Let me ask you this, and this is really for the whole panel, but I think everybody is familiar with Arwen's breakdown from this past week. Tim did a video on it. I was tempted to do a video on it, but after I watched Tim's, I was like, well, you've pretty much covered everything. I'm just curious, like, do we think that videos like that should not be censored. Because in my opinion, that type of video is not something that I'd want my child to run upon, for example.
Yeah, and I'll have to actually go back and check to see how many ads he has on that. But every video little show that he has every morning has like 11 ads within the first half an hour or something. I've been checking that. So it'd be interesting to see if people are actually advertising. YouTube's allowing advertising on something that says these people need to be killed. They need to, you need to scalp them, basically, cut off their faces and make them eat their own faces. And basically a whole show, about 1 hour and 49 minutes of that rhetoric. So that, I'm surprised that's still up. I mean, I downloaded that as soon as I heard about it, because you would imagine that those kinds of things would be taken down. But I think it's still up.
Wouldn't it be considered hate speech as well?
Yeah.
It's a vague, there was no, it was kind of like they, like pedophiles, and then they, it wasn't like actually saying this person
I don't
here.
think pedophiles are a protected group, to be honest.
Not yet.
Yeah, if it was a hate speech, it would have to be like directed towards homosexuals or a particular race, particular religion.
Yeah, I haven't seen the video, so I didn't know the full context. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, he's saying pedophiles, but it's not so much about his disgust of pedophiles as it is his behavior. I mean, his behavior is just like paranoid, you know, like it's very scary. It's very scary. I don't really want to promote the video, to be honest, but you can watch Tim Osman's response video to it. I think that's good enough.
I don't know how it is in the eyes of the law, but hate speech, I don't think it requires the people that are receiving the hate speech to be a protected group. It's just abusive or threatening speech that's expressed.
But it's not directed towards anyone, though.
Well,
directly.
It sort of is, it's so ambiguous and vague because of the way it's talked about. You're right, but it says based on race, religion, or sexual orientation here in this definition, and they think we're religious because we think the Earth's a ball. So there's sort of pretty gray area there.
But he wasn't talking about Globers need to be, have their faces fed to them. Basically, he was talking about pedos. Basically,
yeah, he was talking about pedophiles.
Yeah, I'd like to say that.
I think a lot of us would agree that pedophiles are pretty disgusting and they need to be punished. I think most everybody would agree with that, but it wasn't so much about who his target was as it was just his overall behavior, which was scary. I mean, I hope that someone that knows him on the Flat Earth side is trying to get him some help. I mean, they had a couple.
You can't get through to a person like that. There's absolutely no way. He's so convinced of his own wizardry and nonsense about optical slants and all this kind of stuff. He's not going to listen to anyone. Maybe his healer. I guess he's got a healer that he really listens to.
I mean, a couple of Flat Earthers came on there and tried to talk him down, and they eventually left because they couldn't do it. It's kind of scary.
Owen did kind of paint a target on somebody, though, I noticed. He mentioned the justice system and the courts, and that they were the pedophiles. So there is a target.
Yeah, that is. It's somewhat vague, but I think that might be specific enough.
Yeah, so
I forgot
those
about
type
that.
of videos. I think most people would agree shouldn't be promoted for sure, and I would even agree shouldn't even be up anymore. I mean, it should be taken down. Somebody needs to be helping that guy out.
Can you imagine being the advertiser that's advertising on that particular show?
What's a little disturbing about
if
that?
YouTube's smart, they'd be advertising antidepressant drugs on that one.
Yeah, suicide hotline. Yeah, something.
It's lithium or something. Yeah. Anyway, okay. We've kind of run down that rabbit trail there.
One thing I do want to add though is that one thing that I can see happening is, and I've kind of already seen it happening from a couple of flat earthers, saying that, this. Why do they want to censor the flat Earth? There must be something to hide. So I think for some for some flat earthers, it does feed into their confirmation bias.
Everything feeds into their confirmation bias. I've remarked on this before. It's literally, it doesn't matter. We've seen people get porn bombed. We've seen people go on there and be nice to them or try to get to them. It doesn't matter. They always turn it into something like, oh, the Globers are after us now. They're porn bombing us. So it's this us versus them mentality that they continue to play on. And it's ultimately, like you said, it is the bias, the confirmation bias, the conspiratorial bias that they all share together. But it's also the sense of community that always keeps them coming back, really.
It's interesting that you bring up the porn bomb thing, because I'm completely speculating here, but I'm convinced that Nathan Oakley pretty early on porn bombed himself. And that he did that on purpose to draw that type of attention. Like, oh, the globe earthers are after Nathan Oakley, so everybody support Nathan Oakley type thing.
I don't think it was. I think I know who did that, and I was actually on the panel at that time trying to remove all of the sock accounts that came in. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, in my opinion. But there is a validation going on here in the chat. Validation boy, he said, should I join the panel? So that's up to you, Soundly, if you'd like the satiricist on.
No, is what I would say. No.
I was considering bringing a flat earther on, but I couldn't find one that was reasonable enough. If Chemo would have been around, I probably would have invited him.
Reasonable?
No.
Are you kidding me?
I shouldn't say reasonable. I should say tolerable.
Oh, still.
Chemo is aggravating as hell, but he's always polite. So,
I'm trying to challenge Validation Boy to a debate, but he hasn't really responded.
He'll wreck you, dude.
Validation Boy on. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll give him the link. I wrecked him, or actually, he'll wreck you, truthfully, with his intangible argument, which we'll probably get into here in a bit. Basically, when I talk about the two celestial points, the arc star trails at the equator, all that kind of stuff, the sun, the moon, lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, the equinox, all that kind of stuff, the angles, how it works on a spherical Earth. He just says that basically the sky is intangible. So there's no defeater for that argument, dude. So we're about to get into that, man.
So I actually mentioned this to you. I don't know if you saw it before you saw my messages tonight, because you never responded to me on this one. But so Walter Bislin actually responded to Wolfie 6020's challenge to provide a model to flat earthers, and Walter Bislin responded to it, and he provided a intangible sky model. It's actually pretty interesting, because the stuff that Jaren's been talking about recently is Walter Bislin's model. What do you have to say?
Wait, really?
To me? Yeah.
Like, I mean, literally, like with the ball, like rolling around on the flat Earth kind of thing.
Like Walter Bislin basically said, I can basically say that light bends like this and make it look like a flat Earth.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to look into that, because that's a video right there. Wow.
I'm gonna send it to you. I'll send it to you.
That would be exceptional, actually, because that would be completely blatant at that point.
Yeah, of course, Walter did that as a thought experiment and a joke, really, because there are problems with it, obviously, but
it's the only way it can almost work. I'll tell you that.
Right, exactly. Like, light would have to bend this very specific way, and then the problem comes when you start talking about GPS, though, because GPS isn't related to the optics. So
I just say, why not on the sphere, dude? Like, okay, so you can do this, and you can have a little pinball wheel rolling around. You can have little cookie cutter, freaking pizza pie flat Earths and shit, dude. But come on, man. Like, what's wrong with the globe again? Why are you trying to reinvent the wheel?
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, I gave that to Validation Boy, so Validation Boy may be joining. Planner Walk, I hope that you're going over your notes as far as this spherical Earth shillery that we do together. So,
is he going to join us?
Probably. I sent him an email.
Yeah. So,
we'll see the extent to which this whole. I guess we'll see what happens to flat Earth, because as far as like a person such as Jeranism, his users retention isn't very impressive as far as him putting out a video and it getting maybe a tenth, maybe less than his subscriber base. But he loves those ones that go viral. So they're really worried about this. I understand where they're coming from, because without that recommendation, these things don't happen. Just like Wolfie6020 getting 33,000 subs within like 2 months. Yeah. Well, that was because his video was recommended. And you could see the very first comment was, I don't know why this was recommended to me, but that guy owes that guy $100,000. And there was 12,000 likes on it, dude.
Right.
So that's what happens. That's how your channel goes viral. That's how your channel gets bigger naturally a lot of times. And that's how Jeranism has gone viral before and gotten bigger. So,
well, I recently went, I don't know, quasi-viral. I don't know what you call it, 500,000 views, but
that's viral, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, the eclipse blew up for me, and I got an extra 2,000 views, but it doesn't translate. It doesn't translate to more views on your videos. I mean, like that Chris Hill interview, which I thought was really good. I mean, he was a great person to interview. Very interesting what this guy does. I mean, he does these fun engineering jobs for the Discovery Channel and other channels like that. So cool. I mean, just very cool guy. Had nothing to do with Flat Earth for the most part, and like nobody watched it. So I can't make any sense out of it.
The truth isn't sexy, and I've always done this. I mean, if I don't talk about Flat Earth or Flat Earther in my tags, naturally, with my channel being primarily about Flat Earth and a conspiracy channel, well, then most people won't watch it as opposed to the other videos. So we are in the conspiracy crowd meme, troll meme of the Flat Earth, Sophism, Psyop, Trojan Horse meme. So. Right. If you don't poke the bear like I always did and got popular from the Flat Earthers from that, and you're just this nice guy that does all these observations that completely smash the Flat Earth, well, no one's gonna watch you.
You're
dude.
Insulting me, Tim. Stop it.
I'm saying, dude, you got to be mean, man.
Got to be an a-hole.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of became an a-hole a little bit tonight, and I didn't like it, so that's why I left. But look, this is Walter Bislin's thing right here. I'm sharing on the screen right now.
You're not sharing?
Yeah, I'm not sharing. Anyway, you'll see it later. I don't feel like if I share it, it'll be like doubled on my screen because I'm doing OBS with this right now.
Well, Validation Boy's probably putting on his lipstick, so he's probably gonna be here in a minute, I'm guessing.
I'm just gonna send you a direct link, Tim. How about that?
Cool. Yeah, that'll be interesting, man. Is it really like what he was trying to explain?
Like exactly. Like even graphics. Dude. Oh, dude, you're gonna laugh.
Oh,
I'm going to send it to you right now, just so I can hear you laugh. I want to hear you laugh.
Because I saw him trying to explain his freaking app, that whole Dearth Hole app, which completely doesn't work at all. But they're trying to explain it with, I think, what you're about to show me. So
yeah. Go look on Discord. Go look at that link. You'll be like,
well, we already know that they have no originality. They all basically parrot off their own gurus. So this won't surprise me, but this will be a good video.
But it is hilarious because he's literally taking Walter Bislin's model and adopting it. It's like, whenever I saw that, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Wow. And you got to remember when he talked to what's his face, Red's Rhetoric. I talked to him that night too, Jaron, and he wasn't talking about that at all. Back, what was that, about 6 months ago?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna track that down and see when they started talking about that, because he was one of the first to start talking about this personal atmospheric dome with glory holes all throughout or whatever. But so we'll see, because that's gonna be funny, man. I mean, but the thing is it doesn't matter. You can have the greatest evidence in the world that they're lying, and the flat earthers don't give any care at all.
Nope. That was proven tonight on Red Pill World's stuff. I got to the point where I was like, okay, this guy is intentionally lying to people, and that's what pisses me off. That's what actually triggers soundly flat earthers. If you want to know, if you're intentionally lying to people, it triggers the hell out of me. whenever I make that
Red Pill Revolution,
intentionally, huh?
Red Pill Revolution you're talking of?
No,
I think it's Red Pill Philosophy. He's
Red Pill Philosophy.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. So you went on there then? Did that get porn bombed?
Unfortunately, not.
Wow, I wonder why not.
I went on there, but like they weren't ready to listen to anything. You know, if anybody says anything that's against flat Earth, they're just contrarians. That's all there is to it. You know, they're not willing to listen.
No,
they don't want
because they're
don't want to
convinced
learn
of their own
anything.
bullshit. So it's unfortunate.
I mean, this is my opinion. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, I guess. The stuff that Jesse did, when you understand what Earth-centered, Earth-fixed coordinate system is, when you actually understand how GPS works, and you understand that it's just giving you a location within some space, some cube, and it has nothing to do with the globe whatsoever, like as far as the coordinate system goes, and you just realize you're literally just getting points to plot on a graph. That's what GPS does. It's like, here's an XYZ point, here's an XYZ point, here's an XYZ point. When you take those points and plot them back on the graph, it's curved. It shows the curve. I mean, it's just ironclad at that point. There's nothing they can say against it other than no, and that's what they did. You know, they said no, and that's good enough for them. So that's where we're at. And I just at that point I was like, okay, never mind. Actually, I wish I would have been like that. Okay, never mind, but I wasn't. I was pissed off. I ended up leaving. So anyway, well, is Validation Boy going to show up, or are we just going to?
No, he's here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he has something to say about the censorship thing. We all basically.
Yeah,
said
actually,
the exact
Validation
same
Boy,
thing.
I am very honestly interested in your opinion on the YouTube blog article. That's really what this hangout's supposed to be about. So I appreciate you showing up.
We all agree it's bullshit. It castrates everybody's voice. That's the last thing anybody wants. That's the whole point of YouTube. Everyone's going to get taken down with it, even the anti-flat Earth channels.
We'll see about that. I'm interested to actually see about that. I personally don't care about my channel at all. I delete it tomorrow. I really don't care. But would you I wanted to ask you, VB. I'm curious. What are you gonna go and talk to fight the flat girth or whatever? Or are you gonna what is he just have a video about you, or what's he gonna do on Friday? Or did he do that tonight or Saturday? I don't know.
It already happened, and it was totally uneventful.
Okay, I figured as much. Was he running like an 8-hour stream today on Non Sequitur? That's incredible vigor, man.
See, I've literally never once ever watched a Non Sequitur show or any segment of it or anything. I've never in my life seen it. So
you're missing out, man.
I saw one segment where Fight the Flat Earth had this picture of a dog's butthole, and they kept zooming in and out on this dog's butthole, and everyone was getting all excited and shit, all excited about
Christ? Was it Christ in the dog? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I guess, but I just. And then tonight, there was all these pictures of anuses and dicks and stuff, and he was talking about.
Oh, for sure, dude.
AIDS and dicks and buttholes and stuff.
Can we just like?
Yeah, careful on
just not talk
channel.
about that.
Well, that's what the Globe proponents, little leader there, Fight the Flat Earth.
Well, I will say that there is
the guy that represents you. That's the guy that represents you.
There is a lot of like.
He doesn't represent me. I mean, I know
things.
Fight the Flat Earth, and I don't have any problems with him.
Yeah. He doesn't represent anyone except their own little clique with Planar Walk here. But hey, it's okay, man.
I was thinking about making a video for Planar Walk explaining why it's pointless for us to debate, because I'm going to present the intangible sky argument. He's going to say that's stupid. You can feel the sun. I'm going to say the sun's rays are not the same thing as the sun. It's going to be the same conversation we've all had like 20 times. And I just don't want to do it.
So let me ask you this, Validation Boy. This is essentially an optical argument, right? We're saying that the optics are different than the actual geometry.
I mean, I know you're trying to set me up for some, basically an intellectual punchline or whatever, but optics, what do you mean optics? That's such a vague term.
There's no reason to be paranoid with me, dude. I'm just being straightforward with you. For real. I'm just saying, you're saying that the light doesn't travel in straight lines. That's the only way it makes sense, right? Like that this intangible sky thing.
Well,
There's
no,
an actual object floating in front of, on top of the, flat plane, but that the light makes it appear to be like a globe because of the way the light moves, right?
No, what I say is that objects in the sky might not be objects, and to use what you're seeing in the sky at all is completely just off the table. Like anything in the sky whatsoever is completely off the table. So we're reduced to ground-based arguments, which you guys have tried to do, But the thing is that, like, when you do your Pontchartrain footage, there's some kind of visual scrunching that happens, and then this massive, hump occurs. It's like a 10-degree hill. We call it a fatality. I don't know what kind of car could drive over that. And then there's that video exposing the fact that that's really just a minor little bump. And so it proves that your video has this scrunching. You're doing it in the hottest place on the friggin' planet, basically, New Orleans. And it's just, you only have a front to back axis. You don't have a side to side axis. Basically your footage is nullified. All of your Pontchartrain footage is completely off the table. And
so can I tell you how it's back on the table then? Or are you willing to listen to that?
I mean, I guess, but I mean, it's still just a partial image of the Earth. It's not the whole image of the Earth. So it's still, no matter what you do, it just doesn't matter.
Okay, so
same for Jay Tolan Media.
So you say that I'm doing it in the most humid place on Earth, and the reality is my best observations are during the least humidity. So that's out the window, number one. Number two, it matches the models. It matches exactly what Walter Bismarck modeled.
Even when you do it in the lowest humidity, you're still getting that false image of that bridge and that hump.
But it's not a false image. It's exactly what we expect to see. It's literally exactly what we expect to see on the globe.
I think Validations Boy is talking about those three individual humps that occur
I know what you're saying. I know what you're seeing. But I also know that that's literally what we expect to see.
Yeah.
Like, how do you explain that? How do you explain that our models of a globe with a causeway on it predict that exact observation?
Well, I mean, cameras don't really act exactly like the human eye. So are cameras should they even be part of this argument at all?
I think if you take a yardstick and you bend it very slightly over a flat surface and then you get down and look at it, it does the same thing.
I literally have a video like that on my channel.
Yeah. I mean, in that respect, they do work the same, the eye and the camera.
What we've got here is the photographic observations matching the optical on-the-spot observations, matching the GPS data, matching the 3D model of what is expected for a globe of this size.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge stretch for you to make all of those claims and claim that that's empirically true.
It's absolutely the case.
Hold on, that is true actually. Those three things are true. We do have a model. My observations do match that model, and we do have GPS data that matches as well. We have.
Can GPS truly be trusted?
Sure, it works. Why wouldn't we? We use it to build everything.
Don't you drive pizzas around with GPS all the time, man? Come on.
We use it. We use it to, like, for real. We use it to automate tractors. We use it to automate bulldozers. I mean, yeah, it works. I mean, of course it works. We have practical.
But this doesn't hinge on that, right? We've got people on the scene seeing the same thing the video and photographic footage shows. We've got that matching the model, the expected observation, 3D model. GPS additionally confirms it, but it's not the cornerstone of the thing. You throw GPS out, you've still got the observations matching the model. You've still got the visual observations matching the camera results.
As far as I understand, that's not always the case. So.
What do you mean?
I mean, isn't there all kinds of footage out there of people, zooming into things that are way, way, way beyond what they should be able to see, according to the math of the sphere?
Well,
no.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
The short answer is no. Yeah, in all of the cases where people are claiming that it is, you don't know how far away the object actually is.
Okay. So, well, there is optics.
Jay Tolan's a good example of that. mean, Jay Dolan's made a bunch of claims about seeing things too far away, and when the footage is actually analyzed, it's not too far away. He's not seeing things that are too far away.
That's what's crazy is everyone's done a video on this, and I've personally given all those videos to Jaron and Bob, right. And for some reason, they just continue to put it up as if it's proof for the flat Earth. And like I said on my video last, he doesn't talk about it. He just actually puts up the images, and it says, you know, behold the flat Earth, and it's all those images. But he's already told all of his people that it proves the flat Earth, basically.
Validation, boy, you seem rather reasonable, to be honest. Can you vouch for this K Nix guy?
Hold on, you're making a lot of noise, VB. What's up with that? But go ahead, answer the question though.
Well, it's K Nix guy wants in, it looks like. And I'm willing to let flat earthers in as long as they're reasonable, like VB's being right now.
I have no idea who that person is whatsoever.
Okay. I don't know either. Does he actually have a channel, or is it a troll account?
Zenith Atlas, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it.
I've been following K Nix's comments in the chat there, and he seems to be pretty emotional. I would not expect him to be reasonable. That's just my take.
Let's get this party started, dude. We got VB here. Let's get some emotional wreck on. We'll get Arwen or something, see if he's up.
I mean, I
got his number.
Moderating. if he wants to come on, for real. I mean,
no, I doubt he has anything relevant to say, truthfully.
Well, I do appreciate VB coming on and not like just being an a-hole. So I really appreciate that. I do.
He is. It's more passive aggressive though.
Flat Earth Hangouts wants to come on too. He keeps saying he wants to come on and debate me. I wouldn't mind having him on.
Yeah. Let's I don't know if how you guys Flat Earth Hangouts.
I don't know how to get these guys the link.
That's what I'm about to say, Soundly. Flat Earth Hangouts and KNX, if you guys can just put your emails or a troll account email or something in the chat, and I'll send you an email if you want. We might have to get like Twit or something to pop out. I don't know. Perhaps.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, there's only 8 actually.
Got
cool.
2 spots.
VB, I did interrupt you on your whole censorship thing. So do you have anything more to expand on as far as flat Earth? I mean, it is kind of weird that YouTube says literally like conspiracies like the flat Earth or the flat Earth or something like that. It's just kind of weird to me that they use such direct language towards that.
I mean, you know the case. It's an admission of guilt, man. It's like, no, you specifically cannot talk about this one thing. It's so fucking 1984, man. It's so memory hole. It's retarded and shit.
I think it's an admission of guilt to me in the a different fashion, as far as them basically fulfilling what I thought this whole psyop, what I call the flat earth sophism psyop, Trojan horse meme, to be actually about, in that, you know, they're looking for different ways to basically censor things like people saying that there's crisis actors and hoaxers and all this kind of stuff. So flat earth and its perpetuation throughout the years is good now because it's in their subconscious, the public subconscious. And so now we can kind of, you know, have this debate of, is this censorship and is this wrong? Or, you know, I don't know. BB, you still going to make I mean, has any of your videos ever gone viral except Flat Earth Cutthroats? I mean, that went like Flat Earth viral at the time, right?
And that went Flat Earth viral. The closest thing I have to that, there's one with 23K and there's one with like, well, there's a couple with like 8K, or one of them has 8K and 7K, something like that. But
nice. Was it like MGTOW or something, or was it Flat Earth related?
No, the 23K one was, I put out an article about Scott Kelly the very day that he landed from his 666 days in space and shit, you know? And so I happened to post a video reading the article from when he had been interviewed like 2 weeks prior while he was still supposedly on the International Space Station. He had a direct interview with some CNN cuck. And I was able to read that out and make a video, and I just dropped it on the same day by accident. Really, I didn't even really realize, and I was like, oh shit, he actually landed today. I know, so I'm working on this today, because back then it would take me several days to make shit. I'd just take my sweet time, and I dropped it, and then I guess because he had landed that day, and it was titled CNN Scott Kelly's Lies, CNN Lies or something like that, and it looked like one of these like news report type videos. I guess that's why people fucking. And then recently I dropped on this.
I just have a question. Is MGTOW like basically like willing incel people basically, or?
I don't know. There's no way to classify it, and the whole thing of MGTOW is that because I'm not a MGTOW at all, but they say that there's not it's not like a union, it's not like a club, it's completely.
Well, you supposedly have a ghost girlfriend that no one's ever seen, right?
You guys just don't deserve to.
Why don't you have her like at least do some sound bites for you or something?
She has a whole video on my channel.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't. I don't watch your shit. It's terrible.
Yeah, you love my shit.
I only go there to hate.
I know. I appreciate that too. I need you there, honestly.
What'd you think of my comments? You go back and read them?
Yeah, you're completely stupid in my chat. You say the most normie shit. I know you're just doing it just to troll. You don't even mean half the shit you say.
I mean every word.
There's no way you mean
Hey, BB, how come we can't have like fun conversations like this all the time?
I'm always like this. What are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about not just you. I'm talking about like in general. Like
the key to it all is Timothy Osmond's presence.
He's the moderator. He's the glue. I like having Tim on. I like having Tim on. Tim's always great.
Tim is the center of the flat Earth universe.
Me and Tim have disagreements about certain things, and we're cool about it. You know, like me and Tim talk about stuff like that all the time, and we disagree.
That's what needs to happen in flat Earth. But I think that part of the whole allure to flat Earth, as far as most of the mouth breathers at the bottom, is that there is this community aspect to it. And if the Globebusters, I mean, Soundly is one of the only ones, I believe, that has ever gone on there. And out of any of us, Sean, Red's Rhetoric, any of us went on to Globebusters. So if they actually, I think that it's part of their ploy to keep naysayers out of the loop, because I mean they do everything to actually demean us and everything in every way. I mean, even a nice guy like Soundly is a troll, he's an idiot, he's a shill, all this kind of stuff. A guy that just takes out a camera, does free observation. You don't have to go buy the camera, you don't have to go to that location. This guy's just doing it for you. You can just watch it. And he's, you know, and he gets that much flack. So unfortunately, I guess, I mean, really why VB gets along with us as well is that he isn't a flat earther. He is a flat earth satiricist. You know, Cathexis was the flat earth apologist. He is the flat earth satiricist. So there's no way at this point that he actually believes anything that comes out of his mouth when it comes to the flat earth. VB, what do you think about that?
Is VB a Poe?
Yeah. He can't admit it though.
Well,
you need to define.
Poes can't admit that.
You need to define what a Poe is.
Oh God.
A Poe is
pedantic, do we? You know what a Poe is?
Yeah.
Not exactly. I'm not down with you youngsters slang.
What do you? Okay, a Poe is somebody. A Poe is somebody who parodies an extreme position so well that supporters of that extreme position believe it and support him too.
Like Dell taking his arguments and Nathan Oakley and some other people actually taking and listening to him like he's actually serious? Is that what a Poe would do? And then not actually tell us that he's a Poe, right? Is that right? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's
so
what it is, BB.
I've put the Wikipedia article of Poe's Law on the screen for the chat for the watchers.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't call myself a Poe. I would just call myself an extremist.
Flat Earth innovator / conservative. I like it. The smile gives it away to me.
Extremist, because that's kind of a loaded term these days.
Basically, I'm going to use the term as a provocative term to instigate and trigger.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing, VB, but I just
Well, no,
read.
that's honestly that's what I do. But
No, I wasn't laughing at you. And to be transparent here, I was laughing at Flat Out, who said, "Poe? What's a Poe?" That's coming from Flat Out. So,
Well, he's more satire in my opinion because he's already given the gig, and his gig is too shticky to be actually convincing enough.
it was pretty convincing
To actually have followers like VB actually
Dude,
listening to him.
Here's the thing, guys. Here's the
Right.
fucking thing. Here's the thing. Okay, like I've said before, and I've even gotten Gem Panda and I think Kara and I think several other people, even Mark Taylor at some point, to concede to the fact that we really truly cannot reach the sky. Okay, us personally, we cannot. And, you know, empirically, as an individual, each of us needs to be able to do these things to truly, truly prove to ourselves, like truly, that the Earth is either a huge ball or a huge flat plane or something else entirely, whatever it may be. And it's just never going to happen. So we're all pissing into the wind. We're all shooting in the dark. We're all shooting blind. Okay, all of us.
I just can't adopt that standard of evidence. So
well, then that's why you're intellectually dishonest, and that's why, you know. Seriously, I'm being dead serious. This is like the level I'm operating at here, and people just don't want to fucking get like Planar Walk. He's ignoring the things that I'm saying.
Well,
I was talking about my video. He's like, "Oh, I thought outer space doesn't exist." No, outer space is not space time. I'm talking about the space between you and the stack of porn. Okay?
You know where that falls down. You know where that argument falls down. It's when you look at any area of the world that you don't have experience doing something, you can't really truly prove and know what's going on there.
Thank you, Lewis. Exactly. So since you guys are not going to the fucking sun, you can pretty much just fuck off with your theories about the sun. What I'm saying.
It's a useless way of going about doing things, man.
I think
VB, I have a question for you. How come flat earthers these days are spending all their time explaining why their flat plane looks exactly like we expected it to look on a globe?
What are you talking about, bro?
I'm talking about they're trying to explain away the Lake Pontchartrain footage with perspective or magnification or angle of attack or flare fraction. I mean, they're coming up with all these excuses for why the Lake Pontchartrain footage looks exactly like a globe. Why is that?
That's your interpretation of what they're saying. You're loading that question up.
No,
see right through
what they're doing.
No, it's what your interpretation of the things that are coming out of their mouth.
I'm not interpreting anything. That's exactly what they're doing.
No, you're interpreting it with the bias on the assumption that the Earth is a globe. You know that.
No. They're looking at footage that matches our model.
That's the first
then they're saying, but the reason for that is because of perspective or flare fraction or magnification.
They're dumb for doing that. They should be realizing that the fact that it's just plain footage in the first place is already disqualifies it.
So you've never heard of photogrammetry then?
You ever heard of the rectilineator?
You ever heard
I mean, like you.
Why did you bring that up?
people literally use photography to make measurements. It's called photogrammetry.
Yeah. And they use the rectilineator to prove straight lines and flatness.
So I mean, but like, can you know that my shirt's black here or that my skin's white? I'm using a camera. This is all imagery.
Well, I mean, I'm just assuming that this is it's interacting with me. So yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but like you can do this yourself with a camera as well.
We all know that cameras. You need to talk to Ed Upside Down Head about cameras. He knows all about this shit, and he told
me. Yeah, but whoa! But do you
is
know
he a flat
about
earther now? Is he a flat earther now? Because when I talked to him last, he was telling me that my Salt Lake City observations were some kind of diffraction or something. You know? Because 3 years ago, we figured out it wasn't actually 4 years ago. We figured out that flat Earth was BS. So I'm really surprised he was arguing against obvious sphere evidence.
I speak with Ed rather regularly for extended periods of time, and I cannot speak for him, but he's definitely not a globe proponent. Let's just say that.
Yeah, he's always had like a space just denial kind of thing, but because of NASA, and that's what kind of got him onto flat Earth. That's actually what got a lot of flat earthers into it, was the whole space hoax, moon hoax thing.
Thanks, Flat Out, for the super chat.
Look at Soundly making money off BB's beautiful face and shit.
So
hey, I'll buy you a beer, BB, next time we see each other. Right?
I don't drink.
Okay, I'll buy you a Coke then.
Buy him some Bud, man.
Or I'll buy you a water. Whatever you want. Whatever drink you want.
Purple Kush.
Some Pepsi.
Purple Kush. Okay, got it.
Purple drink.
So, I mean, do you apply... You can't see the entire flat Earth. So, I mean...
Exactly. It's all faith-based, just like the globe.
Nobody knows. All right. Great.
All right, well.
I mean, yeah. He's a man of great faith. What can I say?
So one thing I think would be interesting, just to challenge this YouTube quote-unquote censorship from flat earthers, for them to actually take the next step. That next step is actually to become a religion. So I think they just need like 20,000 people, and supposedly there's millions of them. So basically, if they just are a religion, then they can have like this, they're being discriminated against on YouTube. Other religions are able to, spout their nonsense, and but they're not able to. So what do you think about that, VB?
That wouldn't work, because for it to be a religion, we would have to publicly declare that we are worshiping the flat earth itself, which is
you guys do though.
No,
yeah, I mean, you spend like 8 hours a day plus, probably most of them, watching YouTube and pretending like the earth is flat. So
how many
people
hours a day
pretend like there's all kinds of gods and stuff.
How many hours a day do you spend watching the flat earthers? How many hours a day does Planar Walk spend watching the flat earthers? How many hours a day does Fight the Flat Earth spend watching the flat earthers?
I actually don't spend that long watching flat earthers.
Yeah, I don't either.
You know what's funny? When Planar Walk did a breakdown of my video, he couldn't go but one sentence at a time before becoming completely triggered and having to respond to every single fucking sentence of my 4-minute video. Took it from 4 minutes into like a 45-minute segment of his show. I thought that was great.
Validation, boy. Like,
I am so fucking hyper effective with every single fucking word that I say. It's brilliant, dude.
I just like responding in a way where because I do know that some people have problems when
45 minutes, bro.
I didn't go. Wait. Oh yeah, you were talking about the other thing. My live stream, aren't you?
Well, I mean, if somebody's going to respond to something a flat earther says, like, you could go on for longer than 45 minutes because of how many things you say that are wrong.
That's not the point, Lewis. The point is that he couldn't go but 5 words at a time before getting completely fucking triggered and having to pause and fucking say something.
Well, man, when somebody comes across a flat earther, the first reaction is, how can somebody be this stupid? Because you don't
Planar Walk triggered. I've never seen that movie.
You don't come out and like, you don't sound reasonable. You're making claims that have answers from our point of view. Like, we have an alternative way of seeing the world altogether. So
yeah,
like,
in my opinion, it's just fair for me to have too. I don't see why everyone has to be so butthurt about it. Well, you guys are literally trying to make me stop.
You think it's faith.
Being a flat earther.
You think it's faith.
I'm telling you have to stop being a glober. I never told you that. I'm just saying that the earth is flat and you should be a flat earther. That's all.
That's a good point. I'm happy you said that.
The earth is a globe and you should be a glober.
Yeah. On the other side of that, though, anytime somebody talks at all, they're giving their opinion, they're giving their position, and they wouldn't be giving it unless they thought it was a good position or opinion to have. So there's an implication that whenever you're talking to somebody, that you should be like them.
What?
It's just the way it is. There's an implication.
What do you mean? What is that? What were you talking about? What?
I'm saying that anytime you say what you think, you're implying that other people should also think it. even if you don't explicitly say it.
Lewis is king over generalization. So go ahead and respond.
I mean, I guess, man. But you guys are actively trying to shut us down.
Yes.
Well, we are
shut me down.
actively.
I'm actively trying to shut down con artists on the internet. Correct.
See, I don't even make money, but you make money on your channel.
Yeah, I make money because I take awesome photographs. People like it.
So I'm a con artist, even though I don't make money and I just speak about opinions. I'm a con artist.
Well, I would say that your shepherds are con artists. Yeah. Like
Shepherds?
and yeah.
No, man,
Like
you don't know.
Flat Earth shepherds, there's Flat Earth sheeple. I would say you're
Ask
probably
him, man,
Flat
I'm
Earth
not-
sheeple. There's
He's not
shepherds
your
like
average
vegetarianism.
flat earther. He's
Nah,
definitely
man,
not
I'm
your
really
average flat earther. He called out Glowbusters and Jerry a long time ago, basically flat earth cutthroats. And then he called out Patty, I believe, and then he really made up with her as she was attacking me. She was cyberbullying me, validation boy. And then validation, what? VB?
Who
What?
was it that actually convinced you that the Earth was flat then? Because it had to come from somewhere, right? You didn't just like one day wake up and go, "The Earth's flat." Hey, let me go see if there's anybody on the internet. Or you probably like read it, like watched a Dubé thing or read his book or something, right?
No, it was a guy named Conspiracy Dude. Strange black guy from Florida.
Conspiracy dude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well there's your shepherd. There he is.
What year was that, BB?
13, 12 maybe.
So he's before Dubé and stuff?
I'm not sure. He's definitely a contemporary. They definitely, I mean, he might have got it from Dubé.
You're not talking about Stars Are Souls, are you?
No, but they're very, very fucking similar. A lot of people accuse them of being the exact same person, and they're both a black dude from Florida that talk, look, and sound exactly the fucking same as each other.
Interesting.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
So not the same person, no chance.
But
flat out is pooped a hex nut. Just have to go ahead and say that since it's a super chat.
Well, I don't really think I'm that much of an overgeneralizer. Validation Boy was responding and saying how he doesn't understand why people get so upset, and that's why. It's because there's an implication of you think. I already said it.
No, with you, you even debunk yourself truthfully because you're here and you've admitted such to basically be right on the internet against people that you think are wrong.
Yeah.
That your intention isn't necessarily what you've overgeneralized for the whole humanity there.
I believe it is, and I think it explains why people get upset.
They get upset because of different reasons. First off, Flat Earth is, and Validation Boys already admitted this to us earlier, Flat Earth is a troll meme. That's why I call them trendy truthers, because they love to go and stick it in people's faces. They absolutely love to.
Can you please say the full statement the way you normally do on your show?
Which one? The Flat Earth Sophism Psyop Trojan Horse meme?
Thank you.
But yeah. Yeah, I think they actually crave more being like different and showing people that they're different. It's not necessarily that they're trying to convince them, even though on the surface the veneer of it is. But I don't know, because I just see people like Sperschemo, I see people like Arave, Debbie. Those people are obviously, they get something out of something beneficial mentally or physically or something emotionally that they like to actually go and do what they do over on Gem server and stuff. So that's a kind of a brash right of them all, but like it's like a Pete Shea. I mean, they'd love to go on. I'm like, dude, why you? Pete Shea, I swear, is a Poe. Like he laughs at when sometimes when I call him out. I swear he's a Poe.
I don't think Validation Boy is a Poe either.
Validation Boy.
Validation Boy's not a flat earther, dude. I'm telling you.
This is coming from the chat, which I saw past just now. Factar says, ask VB what he thinks about M. Benz teaching his young kids about flat Earth. What do you think about that?
I don't see anything wrong with it as long as he doesn't deny them access to what the public school is going to probably teach them, you know?
Yeah, and really to that, I mean, you know, maybe some religions are, or I guess really one religion has to be true, would be true, and all of them would have to be false basically after that. But as far as parents teaching and indoctrinating kids into different things, I almost think that really religion at the end of the day would be, to some, more harmful in the end than teaching them different cosmology. And really, if it was taught to where it's like, it's geocentric, man, and we're made by God, you know, maybe that would be actually a good thing or something, because that's what they tried to go to. Because the spinning ball, this pale blue dot, is like a conspiracy. They're just trying to make us like feel insignificant, be rational materialists, and all this stuff. So, I think, I don't know, man. It's interesting.
Real quick, Flat Out says the Debbie does Jim server, so I guess he's on the Jim Panda's server there. And
yeah, she does that quite often. Yes.
Yes, Debbie is a regular on Jim Panda's server, and she is a regular nut. Rapid X says, VB, you need a new hobby.
Rapid X needs to learn how to use some fucking soap and water. Fucking disgusting pig. Do you see him in all his videos?
Oh, boy.
Fucking disgusting.
I refuse.
So anyway, I think that guy that was supposed to come in here, he's being tossed around in 300-second bans by Factard. But I think he was actually agreeing that VB was just tearing up this panel. So well done, VB. I think you've convinced somebody. That K Nix guy.
Oh yeah, well K Nix, if he wants to come in, he can just shoot us his email or something.
I think he's been banned and probably left. I'm guessing. Kept getting timed out and stuff.
It's dinner time for me. Even validation boys have to eat food. So.
He can't.
You know what I'm saying?
What is it, 12 o'clock there, dude?
I don't allow
I got it.
banning on my channel.
I got it. This is my dinner time, man. Well, really, like an hour ago was.
Gotcha.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Anytime somebody brings up faith, in my opinion, they're yielding.
Here, I'll be completely transparent here about whether or not he's banned. Let's see here. Go ahead, Lewis. I'll shut up. Go ahead.
That was the end of my statement.
Enlightening.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me on. It's been great to see you, Tim. I really miss you, bro. I wish you wouldn't be such a dickhead and try to fucking... I see when I write you and I see you log in and look at that message and then you fucking log out, Tim. So stop fucking around, bro. And it's
on Hangouts or what?
Yeah, on Hangouts. You know, when I fucking message you and shit and I see you read the message and then log out and shit.
I'm bad at message. I get hundreds a day, dude. It's terrible.
Anyway. I know you're mad at me. I know you're mad at me because some of the shit I've been saying on my live stream lately, and I've been an asshole too. So I'm sorry about that, bro.
Oh, okay. I don't watch your live streams.
Bullshit. Okay, I'll see you later, guys. Thanks.
Give me some timestamps, dude.Ll watch them. I don't want to watch all of it though. Later, bro.
Later, VB. Thanks for being really cool. Really appreciate it, man.
All right, well, so someone put their email in the chat. Michael Jordan. He's been this person has been wanting to talk, I think, with me for a while, but
well, shoot him a link. Yeah, I was getting ready to shut down, but I mean, I'll keep it alive if you want to talk to somebody.
No, I think he gave an incorrect email anyway. It doesn't work, so I think it's probably a good time.
All right, cool. Yeah, I don't see that guy banned, so I think he just probably took off. Probably got tired of being timed out or something.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. Went a little longer than I thought it would, but I wanted to bring one more thing up, which literally no one except for the 46 people in chat and the panel members will see, because no one will watch this. And I know that statistically is true. But this metabunk.org refraction page is really freaking cool. And if you haven't been here to see it, then go check it out, because there's these little dials where you can change the viewer height, and you can actually change the gradient, the atmospheric gradient right here, temperature versus height right here. And when you do, you can actually see what refraction would look like if the gradient looked like that. And it's pretty neat. So I think most of you would probably appreciate that. And thanks everybody for joining. And guys, thanks for stopping by. And we will see you another day. Unless anybody want to... Or anybody want to sign off real quick before I do? Lewis, anything?
No, just gonna say that Planar Walk stick around so I can ream his ass. Anyway, thanks, man.
What's up?
Ciao, ciao.
All right, guys. See everybody later. Bye.